Our free kick specials linked to Atletico? Welcome to another daily news video. Hutch here. Welcome to the Pride. In today's video, I will be covering a few stories. I will be giving you an update on Ruben's injury. I'll also be covering news surrounding Marcos Alonso and Atletico Madrid interest. I'll be talking about the future of Morata. I'll also be discussing about the transfer ban appeal, and as well as the futures of Higuain and Kova. If you guys want to stay informed to all Chelsea news and updates, be sure to subscribe and join the Pride. Smash that like button. Help me get 10 likes for this video. Well, let's get straight into it. Getting straight into things in regards to Ruben's injury and where it's going. He's expected to be out for 6 months. His operation did go as planned, and Ruben did release a social media post just talking about how he's still confused about what's happened. His surgery was successful, and that he's hoping to come back fitter and stronger. If you aren't sure what happened, as I'm sure most of you are, he did rupture his Achilles during our 3-0 win over New England Revolution, and it's no surprise why Sarri was so livid on the touchline, and it's no surprise about why the club refused to allow Sarri to talk and speak his opinions after the game to the press. Sarri was extremely emotional and was bound to say something stupid that would have been controversially bad for PR, especially considering that this was a PR game, and that's the last thing that this club can afford right now, especially with how the fans are. It seems that the fans, for the most part, are disconnected with Sarri, and with all these reports that's the reason why Lampard is bound to replace Sarri. There's been rumors that he's going to replace Sarri solely because the club is fearful of how disconnected that Sarri is with the fans. But moving on to my next story, in regards to Marcos Alonso and him being linked to Atletico Madrid, there are multiple reports from the Spanish, specifically AS, stating that Atletico Madrid are monitoring him and looking at him as a potential replacement for Felipe Luis. As all of you know, both clubs have had a fantastic relationship, especially in the past. That relationship really has strengthened due to the fact that we let Morata go on loan to Atletico. But that's all the news I have in regards to this story. It does make you remember previous reports suggesting that Atletico Madrid are interested in Alonso. And usually when you have multiple reports from different news articles and different newspapers and articles stating the same thing, when you have multiple sources and multiple reports coming out over a period of time, there seems to be some truth behind it. That's what I've come to find out. That's what I've come to learn. And I've always been told that through every lie, there's a bit of truth in it. So, take it with a grain of salt, as you would say. But I definitely wouldn't mind selling Marcos Alonso. I mean, that's the easiest transfer next to Willian being sold to Barcelona for 50 million. Now, I don't know what the people in Spain are smoking or whatever. I don't know what was going on, but Barcelona wanted to pay 50+ million for Willian last season and this season as well. He's still been linked to still been linked to Barcelona. And then now you have Marcos Alonso being linked yet again with Atletico Madrid. Now, I think this is the easiest decision ever made. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, he's just a crappy player, which, I have before. He has some perks. Obviously, he can score the clutch goal, the occasional goal. But those inverted runs, man, I've had enough of that. I've had enough of that on the left-hand side, and he's really hindered the ball movement on the left-hand side, which is our strongest side. Our right side is usually where we get counterattacked on, and where we give up possession the most. Most of our attack comes through the left-hand side with Eden Hazard and Ruben Loftus when he was available. So selling Alonso, right, will be great for us, because all he's ever offered us was free kicks and heading. That's about it. Other than that, he's offered us nothing. And plus, if we're trying to change our style, which he suits three in the back type of style when he's the wing back as opposed to a left back. He suits that style of play as opposed to what we're trying to accomplish, the 4-3-3, and he struggled all season. He showed no signs of improvement as opposed to Emerson, who has shown some great improvement. And he's, like I said, before he came to Chelsea and when we bought him, he had just came back from a severe knee injury. So sometimes it takes a season or two for a player to come back to natural form, and I've seen signs of a great improvement in his strength, his ability on the ball, and his ability to win free kicks. I've never seen, maybe once, I've seen Alonso win free kicks because he doesn't beat anybody. All he does is give the ball away, crosses the ball either to the first man or he crosses it all the way to the stands on the other side, completely missing players. He's just ineffective in any way, shape, or form. At least Zappacosta can go and get you a goal, right? He offers something. But yeah, I would say that he's worse than Zappacosta if you ask me, because at least Zappacosta has some perks, you know. But then again, I guess he offers free kicks and the occasional goals, so he offers his as well. He's not a completely crappy player, but honestly, if you were to put me in that left back position spot, I feel like I would do a better job than Marcos Alonso. That's just my opinion. He's not suited for our style of football, and definitely not suited to play for Chelsea, if you were to ask me. In my final piece of news, in regards to the futures of both Kova, and my final piece of news today in regards to the futures of both Kova and Higuain, and also our transfer ban, Matt Law and Goal.com, alongside Simon Phillips, came out with an article today. It's coming out all fuzzy. I was trying to give you guys the visual of that, and it's basically talking about the futures of Higuain and Kova and what's happening with our transfer ban appeal. Now, starting with the transfer ban appeal, Matt Law is stating that Chelsea are still considering their actions and considering the best course of action. We haven't currently sent our appeal to CAS, and you might be thinking, Hutch, what the hell is wrong with this club? By now, why didn't we instantly send our appeal to CAS? Well, there's more to this story. Matt Law is reporting that the club are contemplating the idea of serving the ban. Now, this might be crazy, but there is some football sense to this. It's basically suggesting that it depends on the players we can sign this window. If the club feel like they can't get a big name target this window, then they are happy to serve the ban. But who knows? There might be some reasons for that. I've been hearing small rumors that potentially, if we did send our appeal, we won't hear the verdict until somewhere near the end of July, and that's not great news for us. If that was the case, hypothetically, there should be no surprise why the club would consider the ban immediately, because it will make it extremely difficult to sign players. Imagine if you're trying to sign a Jovic or a Pepe. It's not enough to reach your gentleman's agreement, telling the players that you're guaranteed to sign them in the end. They need more guarantees than that. You gotta put it on paper, you know? I mean, these guys have families that they have to move. They have to find homes. You know, what's best, you know, if they have children, they have to find out the best schools available for their kids. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. So it will make it extremely difficult if, you know, we have to wait until the end of July to actually make signings official, because, you know, everybody will be scrambling, you know, and it really puts us in a bad situation. But in my opinion, if you guys were to ask me, you know, you guys already know how I feel about the transfer ban and the positives. You know, it will force Chelsea to finally evaluate the young loan players and give them a chance. You know, or either if the transfer ban was frozen, right, and we were allowed to buy, we can go and get big names for the void, and we can get rid of the deadwood on this team. You know, your Pedros, your Williams, your Barkleys, all those players, Alonso. We can get rid of those players and replace them instantly, you know. But you guys know how I feel about the loan players in loan army, like Reece James, Olaena, Mason Mount. You know, I just seen a report about 20 minutes ago about Chelsea actually giving him a chance to go out to Japan and impress on the preseason tour. So, you know, like I said, either way it goes for me. whether we are allowed to buy or not, it's going to work out for us because, you know, first of all, with Chelsea, we're going to bounce back from this. You know, it's not a big of a deal. And in fact, it might help us out in the end because, you know, it seems like the senior squad and the youth squad are like two different things, and the youth squad are like alienated from the senior squad. It's like impossible to get into the senior squad. That's why I'm pretty sure the youth players are looking at not Kovacic. That's why youth players are looking at Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi, Christensen. They finally made it into the big team, right? The senior squad. And maybe I have a chance. We have players like Tammy Abraham, which I'm sure the club are going to look into. You know, that's why I don't even care if Higuain stays or not. You know, I want him to stay because he's Sarri's guy, but if he doesn't stay, he doesn't stay, because we have players like Tammy Abraham and Ugbo, who he didn't get to feature in the game against New England, but I've been hearing some great reports about him. I haven't seen him play per se because you know, I mean, there's only so much I can do. I mean, I can't watch the championship games and watch them. I mean, I probably could, but I wouldn't get much sleep. But you know, to me it works out either way. So moving on in regards to Higuain and Kova. Now, Sarri would prefer to keep both players, but when it comes to Kova, for instance, now with Ruben's injury, the club's interest in keeping Kova has increased a lot. But when it comes to Higuain, the club is still quite doubtful. If we were to extend his loan deal, we'd have to cough up $15.5 million in loan fees. We also have the option to buy him, which would be $30 million in transfer fees. Both players can technically be signed because they were registered before the FIFA sanction, meaning that all we had to do was just pay the transfer fees, and they will be official Chelsea players. So I can see why Kovacic will be signed for Chelsea because you know, with Ruben going down, and you want us to have. We are very limited in the midfield, and when you have a player like Kovacic who's had a year to work under Sarri, to understand what Sarri wants out of his players, you know, it will make sense for us to make it permanent. You know, as opposed to allowing him to go back to Real Madrid or whatever. But this has been your daily news video. Like, share, subscribe, and more content coming out. I'll be keeping my ears open and trying to get you guys the instant transfer news or all Chelsea news. Work hard to get you guys all the news, all the Chelsea news. Subscribe, and I'm out. Up the Chelsea.